There's a lot that goes into podcasting, and by the time we get an episode recorded, it's so tempting just to publish it right off the bat so that we can see it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. But so many of us podcasters overlook putting launch strategy into their podcast, and we miss out on all the really great opportunities that come from having a well-planned out podcast launch. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 10 tips from Pod Sound School for your podcast launch strategy. This is about to get really juicy. Let's get going. Hey, welcome to the Pod Sound School. If this is your first time meeting me via the YouTubes, I'm Studio Steve. I'm a crazy audio guy. I'm also the creative director of the Pod Sound School. And we help clients and students every day to launch professional podcasts with a pre-launch runway with using these very same 10 steps that I'm going to share with you. Now, in this video, I'm going to assume that you already have a podcast name, that you already have a podcast topic, and that you've already worked out the basic ideas of your podcast, and that you've already settled on the podcast equipment you're going to use, whether it's your phone or a USB microphone. If you haven't got all that figured out yet, we have a really great video right here that shows you all about how to get started with your podcast equipment and your topic and all of that. We also have a ton of videos on our channel, from finding the right name for your podcast to the right topic of your podcast. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to our channel so that you can easily find all of those videos and get notified when we post really cool podcasting videos every week. Okay, so you ready? Let's get to the 10 tips that you should put into practice as your launch strategy, or you could think of it as a pre-launch runway. Tip number 1, dive deeper, more show development. So here you really want to take the time to do a little research, to listen to other podcasts that are similar to yours. How can you make your podcast stand out? What makes your podcast unique? What community are you serving? And who do you imagine that your podcast listener is going to be? All of these questions and really diving into the psyche of your ideal listener is really going to help you to make a podcast and to make podcast episodes that hook people in and get them addicted to your show right off the bat. So we want to take the time right now to do that research so that research can be baked into everything else that we're going to do. Okay, number 2, pick a launch date. But don't pick a launch date yet. Wait till we get through the rest of this list and then pick a launch date. This is the day that your podcast officially launches. You want to make sure to give yourself enough time to accomplish everything on this list. Like I mentioned in the intro of this video, sometimes we get so antsy to get our podcast on the directories that we don't take the time to do the proper pre-promotion and build the hype and do everything that we need to do to really get a lot of ears onto our podcast right when we come out of the gates. With that being said, you don't want to take too much time or give yourself too much time that you just keep putting it off and keep procrastinating. So find that balance. After we get through the rest of the list, take out a calendar, look through the calendar, think about how long it's going to take you to do everything on this list, and then pick a launch date and stick to that launch date. Number 3, this is a very important one, and that's to create a podcast trailer. But wait a minute, how can I create a trailer for a podcast that I haven't even recorded any episodes for yet? Well, that's a really good question. And it just so happens that Veronica has made a really cool video on our channel that you can find by clicking on the I button, all about how to come up with a concept for a podcast trailer. And you don't need to already have had a podcast for a while. It's not like a movie trailer where there's clips of the movie. It could be a trailer that's projecting what's to come with your podcast and just kind of talking about what your podcast is going to be about. It's a good idea when you're making a podcast trailer to incorporate storytelling techniques, maybe a little bit of your own personal story, of your own personal journey that brought you to where you are in this moment, why you're making this podcast. There's a lot of really cool techniques, so make sure you check out that video that Veronica made. But finish my video first. We got to get through the rest of this list. We work one-on-one with our clients to make trailers, and we also go through the whole process of making a trailer inside our premium online course, Smart and Sexy Podcast Launch. And I'll leave the link for that in the description of this video if you're interested in Pod Sound School's online courses. Definitely check that one out. Okay, and number 4, build at least 1 or 2 social media profiles. So here you want to ask, where are my listeners likely hanging out at? This is where you really got to start getting used to getting out of your comfort zone. If you're like me, you're not a very social person, you don't really feel comfortable with engaging a lot with strangers, well, it's time to get out of that comfort zone, put on your podcaster hat, put on your social media expert and marketer's hat, because you are about to get out there and be social. engage with people on social media, and create a nice profile picture for your podcast. It can be similar to your podcast cover art, and get 1 to 2 social media profiles looking really nice with a few posts and a nice description. And in the description, mention your launch date. Okay, number 5, record a handful of episodes. I think the sweet spot here is between 3 and 6 episodes. Look, planning a podcast launch is stressful, so you don't want to make yourself record 15 episodes before you launch, but the more episodes you have recorded, the more content that you have to promote, to talk about, to build the hype up. You've got to listen to my first batch of episodes. But it's important here to really take the time to edit and polish each of these episodes. You need to take the editing and the audio of your podcast serious if you really want to get people hooked to it. Then it's also very important with the episode, with the writing and the content and the way that you perform the episode, to, at the first of the episode, hook the listeners in and then give them a payoff at the end of the episode. Give them a reason to listen. Okay, and number 6, decide on a posting schedule. This also includes deciding on how many episodes that you're going to launch with. And a good sweet spot there is 2 to 3 episodes. If you come out of the gates with 2 or 3 episodes, that gives your brand new listeners, and you've been building up all this hype, it gives them something to kind of binge on and to get even more excited about your next release. And then deciding on a posting schedule refers to how often are you going to post. It's important to be realistic here. Most people will recommend posting an episode once a week because that has to do with becoming part of people's habits. If they just know on Tuesday I listen to one of my favorite podcasts, then that's great. You can fall into their weekly habit. Life gets busy. A lot happens in a week. So you're going to be able to grow your podcast more quickly and reach a bigger audience if you post more regularly versus a bi-weekly podcast or even a monthly podcast. But hey, there's lots of different shows. There's lots of different formats. Some people will just record 10 episodes as a series and release all 10 episodes as season 1 and then wait a whole couple months and then release season 2. This is your podcast, so you get to decide. You're the one who makes the rules. That's what's so fun about podcasting. But give this a lot of thought. Come up with a posting schedule so you're ready and prepared. Now, tip number 7 is to create some shareable graphics. So what I mean by this is you already have your trailer completed. So now take your trailer and make some graphics out of it. There's lots of different ways you can do this. We have a cool video here on our channel that shows creative ways that I have done it by making audiograms with apps like Headliner.app or Wave. Both of those are really cool apps that allow you to make little visual audiograms out of audio clips. That's perfect for your trailer. So that's one graphic you can make, but make other graphics. Take behind the scene pictures and selfies of yourself recording your podcast. This is exciting stuff. Make some visuals about it so that you can be sharing those on social media. Also, now's a really good time to make graphics ahead of time for that first batch of episodes that you've recorded. So those are already on your launch day too. So get a nice handful of graphics. Podcasting is a medium of audio, but the promotion of podcasting includes video, includes visual graphics, includes copywriting, includes a lot more. So develop a lot of content and get ready to share that content like crazy. And that takes us perfectly to number 8. Make some noise. Hey, could you guys please be quiet? I'm trying to get some shut-eye. You know what I mean? No, make some noise. Make some noise. Promote. This is up to your own creativity. And again, like I said, sometimes getting out of your comfort zone. Try going live on social media. It's a great way to get out of your comfort zone and get used to being in front of an audience. Instagram Live is a really good one to start with. Anywhere that you can go live on social media, do it. Hop into Clubhouse conversations. See if you can get people to invite you into their Clubhouse conversations, or any of the other social media platforms that have copied Clubhouse, like Twitter Spaces. Get in there and start the conversation around the topic of your show, and keep dropping the launch date and building the hype for why people have got to set that date on their calendar so they can come check out your show. Talk to other podcasters. You will find a lot of them on Twitter, myself included. Come hit me up on Twitter @PodSoundSchool, and see if you can get interviewed on shows that have a similar niche or a similar audience of yours, and get interviewed beforehand. You will be so surprised how welcoming the podcast community is. Ask your friends and family to join in on your promotional efforts. Ask your kids. Whatever it is, get as much help as you can, make as much noise as you can, and get really creative here. If you have an email list, definitely use your email list. If you have one, no matter how small it is, make sure that you're emailing that list many days beforehand and multiple times before the actual launch date. Create countdown timers, whether it's in emails or on Instagram or on social media. really build some hype, make people really set that date on their calendar. It's a big deal. And something that our clients have done that has been really cool is if you have guests that have helped you to record your first few episodes, invite those guests to go live with you on Instagram, especially if they have a cool following and you think that their following would enjoy your podcast. That's a perfect fit. Ask them to come on a few days before your launch and talk about the episode they recorded with you. And again, build the hype of why people need to come check you out on that launch day. Okay, we're getting close. Number 9, apply to get featured by Apple Podcasts. Yes, did you know you can apply to get featured by Apple Podcasts? Apple is very mysterious about whether they will promote you or not. Now, I'll leave some links right where you're watching this video. If you check the description of this video, I'll leave a link where you can find more information about exactly how to apply to Apple. But basically, you just ask. You say, hey, I'm coming out with my show. So what you need to do is you need to apply after you've posted your trailer onto the podcast directories. But you have to apply at least 2 weeks before your launch date. So you know that you're gonna need at least 2 or 3 weeks of preparation time before your launch date. It's a shot in the dark. You may or may not get accepted. Don't build your whole promotion around it. But if it happens, it can be really useful. And Apple's always looking for new shows that fit different demographics and editorial needs that they might have. And you'd be surprised. We've had clients ourselves. We've also been on New and Noteworthy on Apple, and it really helps to get a huge spike in your downloads. And finally, number 10, and this is a big one. Thanks for making it this far into the video with me, and that's launch day. Make it an event. Make it a big deal. Don't just launch your podcast, have it all scheduled and released, and then just take a nap on launch day. No, you need to be there and make it a big event. You can schedule listening parties, either live or virtual events or in-person listening parties that you record and get footage of and share live. Some people will hold giveaways for people who leave a review. And that's the other thing. Make sure that you're asking people to listen, to rate, and to review, and to give you feedback about those first couple episodes. Then you can take that feedback and make a list, gather data so that you can constantly be using that data and that feedback to create better content. When people review and leave ratings on your show, take some screen grabs of that stuff and reshare it. Create social graphics about it. Say, hey, so-and-so just checked out my show and they loved it. Have you checked it out yet? Also, if you enter my giveaway before such and such time, you'll win a free whatever this is that's related to my topic, right? Think about things that you can do to really make it a big day for you. This is a big day for you. You've put so much work into it. You've worked so hard. Celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on. And let the Pod Sound School know about when your launch date is. We would love to check out your podcast, and we'd love to give it some love on our social media channels. After all, you are our Podski, and we're here to help you succeed. And then finally, get some well-deserved rest. You're gonna need it because you're just getting started, and you're about to go to some crazy cool places with your podcast. And that's it for me today, Podski. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel, all that fancy stuff. Definitely drop some comments here right where you're watching this video and I will respond. Let us know what launch questions you have, what podcast questions you have. We are here to help you go places with your content. And until next time, we have a really good video right here, how to start a podcast, or maybe right here. I don't know where you point. Point right here. There we go. Ooh, there we go. Ooh. Okay, so all right, it shows you all about that. It shows you okay.